we sure that wasn't a preseason game tonight?
Nope, it was game 82 of the regular season. The regular season finale. You want me to go let you watch the end of the Minnesota-LA game? You can go.
Thank you.
I keep telling him not to count on John Hines for anything. Just because he doesn't coach the Preds anymore doesn't mean that he's going to help us out. Preds lose 4-2 to the Pittsburgh Penguins Monday night inside PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Preds elected to play a full roster in this game sans Alexander Carrier, who was kept out for precautionary roster management reasons stemming from his minor injury, we hope, against Columbus on Saturday. Seeing as game one could potentially be still a week away, not a bad decision by Bruno, in my opinion, to play the full roster, to give them time in a game situation to be cohesive and be ready for game one. And against a desperate Penguins team, gives them a good measuring stick game going into whoever it still is, still to be decided as their first round opponent. The Preds fan base, as far as I can tell, still hates the Penguins. The team, not as much, because in 7 years, there's only, 4 remaining players on this roster who were on the 2017 team. Forsberg, Colton Sissons, Roman Josi, and UC Saros. It would have been nice to have ended the Penguins season, get a little bit of measure of revenge, because they're always going to have the 2017 Stanley Cup victory over us. But considering the fact that the Penguins know that there's 4 teams competing against them for 2 playoff spots in the Eastern Conference, you can hang your hat by the end of this game that the Preds hung around pretty well up against a much more desperate Penguins team. If you miss watching this game live, the box score won't tell you that Lawrence Filoni correctly challenged 2 Penguins goals for goalie interference, keeping the Penguins score after 1 period from being 4-0 and instead being 2-0. I think that's gotta be a game record for him, much less a single period. The challenges denied Michael Bunting a goal and Chris Letang a goal. Overall, after 1, the Penguins looked in firm control, Saros keeping the Preds in it though, as yes, they were down 2-0, but the Penguins are out shooting them 20-5. And from then on out, all things considered, the Preds played pretty well if you just considered the second and third period, where it was a 2-2 on the scoreboard in those 2 periods alone, and the Preds outshot the Penguins 25-18 in the second and third combined. Gustav Nyquist and Philip Forsberg made this game respectable with goals in the second period. That was Philip Forsberg's 48th goal of the season, obviously just increasing the mark for whoever comes next to beat for a single season record for the Preds. And I happen to look this up. Something to look forward to with Forsberg next season is that Phil Forsberg has finished with 287 goals for his career. We won't have to wait very long into next year to see him reach 300. And hey, there's something else in terms of career stats that I should have been giving more props to throughout the season that I now regret not doing, but I'm not going to leave it out in this regular season ending fan reaction. With a hit on Raquel of the Penguins late in the third period, Jeremy Lauzon set the single season league record for hits in a season at 383. Congratulations, Lasagna. What a 180 you have done with the fan base since David Poile first acquired you for a second-round pick from Seattle. And I saw that many Preds fans were annoyed of you early, but I knew, given time, that you would develop into the tough, hard-nosed defenseman that we can count on you to be. You are going to be an intimidating factor on the blue line come these playoffs. Preds were in this game late. Bruno pulled Saros late, down 2 to try and get a tying goal. I will give Forsberg credit. He raced down a puck that looked determined to go into the empty net, and he denied it, brought it back, giving the Preds a fighting chance. And hey, it was a respectable game in the end. This team's finish just 1 point shy of 100 points in Andrew Brunette's debut season as a head coach anywhere full time. Yes, he was Quenneville's replacement, but this was the first season where he was a head coach from start to finish. I think Preds fans are going to be as pumped up for a head coaching hire since Laviolette's first season with the Preds. As for the playoffs, at the time of this recording, LA just scored to cut the Wild lead to 3-1 with just over 5 minutes left to go in regulation. If that score holds and Minnesota goes on to win that game, the Preds are locked into wildcard spot number 1. Sure, Vegas, who is in wildcard spot number 2, can still jump them, but they would jump them into 3rd spot, sending LA into wildcard spot number 2. No matter what, as long as Minnesota does not blow this game, Nashville will finish in wildcard spot number 1, most likely, unless the Canucks blow it. Yes, I know it's like 9-2 Edmonton right now, but that win by the Canucks against the Oilers in Edmonton did a lot of help to the Canucks to all but secure the Pacific Division, meaning that most likely, again, Minnesota doesn't choke. The Preds will be playing the Canucks in the first round, but more on that later. So that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. You can find me on social media and interact with me during every Preds game by clicking on the channel name. Tell all your friends about Redemption, and be sure to keep yourself occupied, Preds fans, with something. It could very well, if Vancouver ends up being their opponent, seeing how Vancouver plays on Thursday, it might be up to a week before the Preds play another meaningful game, game 1 of the playoffs.